community. We'd be happy to help you, Jessica. Happy to have you. You're welcome. And with that, I will pass it over to the beautiful Crystal Lore.
Hello. Happy Monday. How's everyone doing today? How you doing, Rachel?
I am fantastic, adjusting to the LA time zone.
Woohoo! Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, have a wonderful time. I can't wait to follow you and just see all the adventures that's happening. So, hi, Jessica. Becca's in the house.
Hi.
Kimberly's here. Hello. Julie just joined. All right. So I just want to say hello and welcome. Happy Monday. I am Crystal Lore Cruz with Cruz Beyond Limits Consulting. I'm a life, fitness, and business accelerator, and I am on a mission to help everyone empower themselves to put their health and their fitness first for at least 34 minutes a day so we can reduce the stress and overwhelm and live a more fulfilling life. Well, that sounds really cool, right? However, it's really hard. And I love that last segment, and especially that last comment with regards to we've all been through hard things. And sometimes we can get stuck in the trauma, in what we've been through. Maybe if we're in it right now, having a hard time getting out of it. And one of the things that I truly enjoy is really helping people develop the skills and the tools so that we can shorten that time period of that self-doubt, so that when we show up in a networking event, maybe live on social media, maybe you're with your family or in your business, that you're able to think and be positive and be of service with regards to what you've been through. And I know it sounds cliche, but turning your mess into a message is a gift and it's a craft. And so many times we stay stuck. And so I just want to give you 3 tips today to hopefully help you figure out, are you living your best life? So 3 questions that I want you to ask yourself. So when you show up in your life, in the different areas of your life, no matter what role you're playing, I want you to ask yourself these questions, because I think it's really important, because we can be in it and not realize it, that we're in this negative space, right? And so many times, throughout my career, throughout my military career, my adult career as an entrepreneur, it has been a journey. And there's sometimes where I've been in a funk and I didn't even realize it. All right. And so sometimes you just got to snap out of it and ask yourself some questions. So I'm really hoping that I kind of unpeel the layer for you and give you some tools. Maybe you're having some great days and great weeks and great months or great years right now, and you're not needing these tools. But my hope is that when life gets thrown at you, that you're able to use these tools and remember these gifts that I'm giving you here today. And I really just, I'm going to, before I share this, I want to just change the room link here real quick, because I have a free community that is incredible. We have a supportive community, not only the Level Up community, I'm also a member of that too, and one of the coaches there. We level up not only our life, but our fitness. I'm the resident health and wellness coach in there. And then we level up our business. And sometimes it starts with, what do you desire for your life? What are your dreams and goals? And saying them out loud in a supportive community. So if you need that support, we have plenty of resources for you and people that will cheer you on and that will light you on fire and not only show you what's possible, but help you along the way and give you the tools and resources. And that's what we're here to do. All right, so y'all ready to level up your health and your wealth today? Because your health is your wealth, and we have to be able to have the tools and resources to be able to do it. So your 3 questions that you want to ask yourself. Are you clear? Number 1, are you clear? Are you clear in the path that you're on? What is the long game? So many times when we're stuck and we're like in this funk sometimes, or we feel like there's no way out, we're frustrated. I'll tell you, I've been doing a website migration. I'm changing over my CRM, and it has been an 8-week journey. And for some days, I'm like, oh my gosh, is there going to be an end? And I have to remember the reason why I chose to go through this migration was so I can serve my clients more, so I can be more present with my family, so I can have more freedom financially, time wise, so that I can be in my zone of genius. As an entrepreneur, as a coach, and as a mentor, I don't want to have to be dealing with all the technology. So I have put systems in place in order to be able to level up my systems and my automations for my business. And it's a lot to set up. And sometimes I'm like, gosh, why am I doing this? But I have to remember the reason why I'm doing it is so that I can serve more and level up my business and be able to live a life that I truly desire. Which, side note, by the way, I will live 10 steps from the ocean one day. But for now, I am here in Louisville, Kentucky, in my home office, and I've been working from home since 2017 as an entrepreneur and just living this life as a digital nomad, traveling all over and trying to figure this thing out. Okay, so what are you clear on? Who are you serving and why are you doing this? I think it's so, so important. Your why has to be so clear, because when things get tough, you're going to be challenged. You're going to be tested. And we have to know the long game and be able to look beyond the clouds, look beyond the storm that you're in right now. And you have to be so clear in the pursuit and what is setting you on fire. Like, what is lighting your fire? Okay. So tip number 1, ask the question, how clear are you? How clear are you on the long game? What is going to set your soul on fire? All right. And I want you to be so clear, and I want you to practice saying it out loud. I am on a mission to help empower you and every person on the planet to put themselves and their health first, at least for 34 minutes a day, so they can reduce the stress and overwhelm of life and live a more fulfilling life and thrive in life. That took me a while to get really super clear. I'll tell you, it actually didn't happen until almost 2 years ago, because I started seeing themes and collecting all the reasons why, and I was getting feedback and getting in more communities, getting coached, getting mentored. I hired speaking coaches. I've been doing this work for a long time, trying to get super clear. And that is what breeds the confidence, so that I can stay consistent. Because I'm having really tough days. I am exhausted. And the last thing I want to do sometimes is go live on social media and be on for everyone. But I know I am clear in my mission and what I'm put on this earth to do. And I have God's gifts, and I've been through a lot of things, and I want to shorten time for people. And I love the previous segment with regards to networking and maybe sharing from a place of a servant leader, of serving and helping others, versus being in the blame and the shame and the guilt and while you're in it, right? Sometimes we can't really help someone until we're on the other side. So we have to be very clear and intentional. All right, have you been through something? Is that's what's driving you to start a business, or maybe break away from the 9 to 5? Maybe you have a side hustle right now and it's just your passion. Maybe you want to help others. Maybe you want to be a humanitarian. Maybe you want to write a book. Maybe you want to be a speaker. Maybe you want to be a coach. Maybe you want to be a mentor. Maybe you want to be a retreat leader like me now. Like, you have this burning passion. There's got to be a story behind it. And you have to be so clear in what that story is. For those of you who don't know, as a former NFL cheerleader, I spent 6 months in a wheelchair as they poked and prodded at me at the young age of 22 while they tried to figure out what was wrong with me. Well, they gave me endless amounts of medication. I grew sideways. I gained about 30 pounds. And I'm 4'11 3/4, so that's a lot for a small human. And I literally had to start standing up for myself. I was in a toxic relationship. And I literally was stripped of everything, every identity that I knew. And I had to start saying yes to the things that I knew were good for me, and start saying no to the things that did not serve me. And I finally, at that point, had a voice. See the turnaround in that story? From that point forward, I started to build the tools and resources to rebuild myself to the core, to figure out how clear I am in the pursuit of the dream so that I can really shorten time period. So maybe if it's you right now, maybe you're an entrepreneur, maybe you're recovering from an illness or an injury and you're trying to get your body or your energy back or that zest for life again. You got to be clear in why. I know my why. Every time I'm over here. I've run 26 marathons in a 50-mile race. It took me an entire year to get off of all that medication. I had a pill box that was bigger than my face, where I took AM and PM. I took all these medications to offset the side effects of the other medication, right? I'm not going back there. My why? Oh, Crystal, you should slow down. Stop doing so much. Your knees are going to hurt. Guess what? My knees hurt. I couldn't even walk. I had to crawl out of bed. I had to literally fall out of the bed to crawl because I couldn't walk out of the bed. So I'm not going back there. I'm not taking endless amounts of medication. I got to rewrite that story. And I started standing up for myself and rebuilding other tools and ways of living. So I embraced a holistic approach to my health and wellness. And that's why I take it so seriously. That's why I don't slow down. That's why I keep going every single day, because I know what it's like to be ripped. And I'm not going back there. They tried to kick me out of the military, ripped of that identity as well. I was no longer in the NFL. They told me I couldn't run again. I had to be on all this medication for the rest of my life. And I was living with an autoimmune condition for the rest of my life. I said no. It took an entire year and I rebuilt that. But I had to get really honest with me, which brings me to question number 2. I had to get clear. And then I had to get really honest with myself. What are my daily habits? What is my lifestyle? What is the energy what are the things that's coming into my body and into my mind? I was in toxic places, toxic spaces, in a toxic relationship with the people around me and the person between my ears. I was in a toxic relationship with myself. I was taking my body for granted. I was running it ragged. I wasn't fueling it properly. I wasn't sleeping properly. I would go to school full-time during the day. When I was in the NFL, it was my senior year of my undergrad. So I would go to school full-time during the day. And then I would work part-time as a server at a restaurant. And then I would go to practice for 4 or 5 hours a night. I would have to check in at the gym. I would have to go to practice. I would have to practice after practice. I would have to drive through the blizzards of Buffalo to get back home from practice. And it was a constant rinse and repeat. And every other person in my life, except for my parents, were toxic. Toxic energy, toxic voices, the negative, telling me I wasn't good enough, judging me. And so I had to get really clear and really honest with who I was and what I was consuming, both physically and figuratively, who I was surrounding myself with. And I had to start over. So I had to get really clear with my daily habits. How am I fueling my body? So rheumatoid arthritis is autoimmune. It attacked my healthy joints. So I had to really research the power of nutrition and anti-inflammatory diets. At one point, my quad was as big as at the top of my leg, all the way down to my ankles. It was the same size. I had so much joint fluid and inflammation that I couldn't even bend my leg. And they had to take a big needle and extract all of the joint fluid. It's bright orange. I don't recommend it. Don't try it at home. It's not fun. So I had to restructure my diet and learn about anti-inflammatory diets. What is it like to live with an autoimmune disease? I had to get really clear with what my new normal had to be. And I was 22 years old and feeling very alone. And so it was kind of like, what am I going to do with what I've got? And that's another big question. Life's biggest question for me is, all right, I'm not wearing any sleeves right now, but if I were wearing sleeves, what can I do with what I got? Let's roll up our sleeves. Let's figure it out. Let's be problem solvers. Let's get out of the blame and shame and guilt and victim mode and say, what can we do? Okay. And sometimes we just got to be honest with ourselves and get clear and just say, all right, what's one thing we can do today to get us that much closer? What's one thing we can say yes to? What's one little thing that maybe we need to say no to today to set some boundaries and to live a more fulfilling, healthier, happier life? So number one, if you're sticking with us, if you're taking notes, in order to ask yourself, are you living your best life? You need to be clear, utterly clear in the long game, because you're going to be challenged. Number two, you got to be really honest with your healthy habits. And if you need support in this area, you need a supportive community, we have it for you. I'm here to help you. All right. Make sure you click the link above. That's my free community. Please join it. I come in live. I'm actually live in the group right now. I'm here to support you. It's the Health is Wealth for busy people. Okay. You think you're busy? You think you're too busy to live a fulfilling life? You think you're too busy to be happier and healthier? Guess what? I highly recommend you don't wait till it's an emergency like I did. Your health is your wealth should be a long-term strategy and a long-term lifestyle of your daily non-negotiables, of your daily pursuit of showing up each and every single day like your life depends on it, because it does. So the third question I want you to ask yourself, so once you have clarity, you know where you're going, you know why you're put on this earth, you know that you want more, you know you're not going back there, you know why you're not going back there. If that's the case, you got to get really honest in what we're going to do to change the game. And then number three, you have to figure out, where in your life are you playing small? Where in your life, what role in your life, where do you show up and you're not showing up at 100%? The world needs you at 100%. Your future self needs you at 100%. So we have to be really clear in the areas of our life where we're playing small. So I love to do vision board and goal setting. Now, goal setting and vision board planning is just a start, right? It's so that we can see what's possible for our life. We can envision it and feel it, right? So we got to figure out, we got to do this work and start to reflect. Where am I envisioning my best life? And where am I just falling short just a little bit? Or maybe a lot of it? Or which area of your life needs some tender love and care? A little bit of TLC, little bit of attention. Is it in your hydration? Is it in your movement, your fitness regimen? Have you fallen off since COVID or maybe before? Is it in your leisure? When was the last time you took a day off? When was the last time you did something that brought you joy? So where in your life are you playing small? Where are you not using your full voice and showing up powerfully? Is it in your relationships? Is it in your friendships? Is it at work? Are you living your best life at work? You spend most of our time focused on our life's purpose, our work, right? So our life's work. I don't ever feel like I'm working a day in my life. I feel like I've reached freedom. I'm not quite there yet, but I've reached freedom because I have literally been able to put my love of coaching and servant leadership and helping people and fitness and travel. And now literally I host retreats in the middle of, on the top of a mountain in Costa Rica. I'm wearing my Cruise Beyond the Limits Pura Vida shirt today. I literally have been able to put all the dreams and goals and everything, that all of my gifts in one. And I'm about to host another retreat in May and put it all together and help these women transform in an all-inclusive experience. And it's glorious. And I'll tell you, this is true freedom for me. So I never feel like I'm working, but it's my life's purpose. It's my passion. And you can't argue with this passion, because I am so clear. I am honest in the things that I am doing to get me there. And I recognize the areas of my life that I'm playing small. And I have to recenter, refocus. right? So just starting to recognize it without blame and shame and guilt and overwhelm. We just have to take a snapshot. I always like to say the body is a vehicle and our life is like a vehicle. So sometimes we just have to open up the hood a little bit and say, what's going on in there? Where are we playing small? Where do we need just a little bit more love? Right? You get to. You're worth it. Okay? So I want you to ask yourself these powerful questions. Journal them out. I have the Crystal Clear Life Planner. If you need the planner, it is transformational. It is life-changing. The Crystal Clear Life Planner, it's a 90-day action plan to embrace chaos and live a fulfilling life. There's prompts in here that will help you move, that will challenge you. You can celebrate, you can time block, figure it out, prioritize, and get super clear. I had to do this work. I had to get super clear, especially as an entrepreneur. I've had to get clear because working from home, traveling all over, I've moved 4 times in the last 5 years, and this isn't the last time. So I got to be super clear on the long game, or else the short game and all the noise and all the shiny objects and the things the distractions are going to come in. And I have to be clear in what I'm saying yes to and what I'm saying no to. And recognize where I'm playing small and start to show up more powerfully each and every day. Okay, so those are my 3 questions. Are you clear in your pursuit? Are you really honest? And where are you playing small? I need you to ask yourself those questions. And I'd love to hear from you. I want to open up the stage here. If anybody has questions or comments, reflections, I'd love to support you. Let me know what questions you have. Remember, click the link above if you're on Clubhouse to my free community, Health is Wealth for the busy people. It is a beautiful, supportive community where I pour in, and it's just an amazing. People say it all the time. They're like, Crystal, I have never felt so heard. I have never felt like I'm not being judged. I never had complete strangers like want to support me and cheer me on. I've never felt like I could have other women that won't, treat me differently because I feel like, I'm going out because I'm recovering from something, or I'm starting this business, or maybe I'm in recovery. There's women in my program that are in recovery. I have women in my program that are over 70 years old. And they say, I retired from my job, but I didn't retire from life. I'm not done yet. Wow. And so I really want to open it up. I would love to hear from you. What questions and comments do you have? I see Jessica's here. Julie's on the stage. Kimberly's here. Dora Maria, Ramona, Tarika, I see you. Jackie, I see you. Everyone else in the audience, please raise your hand. Be courageous. I'll tell you, I was clear 2 years ago. I said, I'm going to get on more stages. I'm going to start raising my hand. I'm going to start sharing my message. I'm going to start bringing more joy to the world. I'm going to make an impact on this world. I'm not going to play small anymore. And I vowed to myself and I raised my hand. So this is my message to you. Where are you playing small, and are you ready to raise your hand? Somebody yield the mic. Take a sip of water. Whew, if you're live on Facebook, let me know what questions you have. If you have questions, comments, let me know. If you're catching this live, say #live. If you're here on replay, say #replay. Reach out. Jessica, I see you're unmuted. How are you, darling? Happy Monday.
Hey, happy Monday. I am just, I'm just rejoicing in the strength of your testimony, that every time you share it, I know it reaches more ears and more hearts and more spirits that need to hear it, and just being an example of the mindset behind everything. Because even if we're all at various stages in recovery, there's the story we believe. There's the story of the facts. There's the story we believe about those facts. And then there's the story about what we believe about ourselves. And that is sometimes the biggest game changer in how fast we can recover and heal and move forward or not. And then Of course, I'm moving through a process, and I think it's just so important in the cadence of the room today that even it's not saying that there aren't things we're going to be uncertain about. We all have areas that we feel more in control of, or more empowered in, or have more knowledge about. But my question and also is, what do you say to someone who's right at that stage for that comeback, where they have moved through and processed through and maybe have gone through different cycles of those stories and beliefs and just wrestling through it? If you can speak to one of your final moments of just being able to come back, what helped you make those decisions, and what sort of support did you stack up for yourself to be able to make those changes or moves?
Oh, Jessica, thank you so much for that question. And it's so great to have you here every Monday. It's such a beautiful to see your beautiful face here. I love it. So really great question. When you feel like you're coming out of it, or maybe some of the first things that you might do, for me, I shared my story of, being in the wheelchair. There's these flashes of moments where it's like you're like I look at the rest of my life in this pattern, and I'm like, I don't like this pattern. And like that was enough for me to just say enough is enough. Like there's got to be another way, right? And so that mindset shift opens up some curiosity. And I know I've shared this before in rooms that you've been in, Jessica, but for those of you who are new to my world and haven't heard my story, I actually started my Cruise Beyond Limits virtual hit camp right after COVID. And that was a pivotal moment again in my life, where in 2019, I was diagnosed with cancer. I had skin cancer, and literally from April till October, when I had the operation on my arm and my leg, I literally was in the fetal position. I did not live life. And I was like, wow, this is not what life should be like. And I was unfortunately there again, right? In that storm, really is what I would like to call it. And I'll tell you, I didn't work out, and I grew, I gained a lot of weight again. And it was kind of this cycle that I went through yet again. And I didn't have control over it, right? This is really important. An important part of this story is these are things that happened for me, not to me. They were for me to teach me a lesson. And also not necessarily to teach me a lesson. I found the lesson in the experience. But what happened was it woke me up again, because I wasn't able to work out for 6 months. And in March of 2020, March 17th of 2020, we're coming up on 3 years now. I can't believe it. I got a phone call from a friend, and she was like, hey, all the gyms shut down. I know you teach all these workouts and these boot camps and you do all this coaching. She had no idea where I had been, that I literally has been almost a year that I hadn't been working out, and that I wasn't even cleared by my doctor yet. But that phone call enough to say, hey, can you stream something online? I answered that call. And I sat and I rolled up my sleeves and I said, yes, I can. And so being in that servant mindset, that role model mindset, being able to be a problem solver and help someone else and get in community and build something, that to me was exciting, right? And so that it knocked me out of that space, out of that funk. And so I hope this message lands with you, that, maybe there's a way that you can be in community, be in service to someone else. And you don't have to be that, like Jessica, I know you shared some of your story, but you don't have to be like totally reformed and like have this whole nother life to be able to help someone, right? Because you've been in this space where maybe you can just be one step ahead. So I think a lot of entrepreneurs see the highlight reel and the success of so many entrepreneurs that you feel like you have to be perfect in order to help someone and start something. And I literally was like, hey, I'm not cleared yet. I'm going to modify, but I'm going to move my body because I know that I need to. My brain and my body needs to. And the rest of the world needs me right now because I have this skill and I'm able to meet people globally. Now I have clients all over in other countries, more than US. I'm in Spain and Costa Rica now and all over the US. So I have clients everywhere. So wherever they're at in the world, wherever I'm at in the world, I'm able to meet them. And that, my dear, that knocked me out. Now, because it's bigger than me. So when we're in this spiral, we're only thinking about ourselves. So make it bigger than you. Because life is bigger than us, and we can get so cocooned and closed in and feel like there's no way out. So get in community, see how you can serve, who can you help, what can you do with what you've got. Start asking yourself those questions and getting curious and getting around powerful people that will support you and help you find the answers. So I hope that message lands with you, Jessica. What are your thoughts?
I'm thinking about the power of modification, and there's several things in there that are such gems to continually be mindful of, keep manifesting even as you're going through it. I mean, so much points to faith and calling things in, even if it's not like the reality in the moment.
Right.
And the power of the perception and intuition to look for those keys, because it's not like, I mean, I'm sure in the fetal position you're also just like praying and like, okay, show me this or that or this or that. So it just speaks to the power of modification, and we don't have to be so committed, because some things that we experience do change things forever. Like we do have to find ways to adapt and live a different way. And sometimes you first get, well, not just sometimes, everyone gets confronted with, it's not what it was.
Mm-hmm.
It's not what I know. It's not, I grew up this way or in this framework or this ability. And sometimes something changes that like you literally can't control. And the beauty of the modification is still focusing on what you can do, obviously, like, but embracing that it doesn't have, we don't have to be so committed to our worth and our value and our contribution on the other side of the coin also being tied to it. We can, like, there's such a acceptance in your voice, and it really is empowering. Like if you've been in some, I'm sure there's people here on stage or in the audience where you got hit with something, just no one could prepare you for it. And you might not even have all the tools or language to even know what support or what steps to take. But it's so personally empowering and so important that in those moments when it's just you, when you're trying to reduce the noise of other people's input or others' fears around it, etc., really anchoring into what you can control. So I just keep pointing back to the modification. Like you found a way to, and it was a step by step. The modification led to another modification, and now you're running marathons. So it's just, the hope in it is amazing. I can feel I might repeat myself here. So there's just power. There's power in the modification. I love it.
Yes, I love that, Jessica. And I think it's such a great reminder too, because when we almost have to mourn the loss of a previous identity. And especially like as an athlete, or, I work with a lot of moms that they're like, oh, I used to run or I used to work out before this. And now, they're mourning the loss of what the difference in the comparison of what their previous body looked like and what they used to be able to do. And I help a lot of women actually through their pregnancy and postpartum and post-hysterectomy. Like I have clients that literally I worked with them up until the week that they delivered, and then right afterwards. It's like so powerful when you can just modify and do what you can, and just know that your body is and I say this a lot in my programs, like your brain will bully your body. Your body is so much more adaptable and so much stronger than what you think. And so what we do in my programs is I give you options for modifications. So I do 30-minute HIIT and kickboxing sessions, and they're good for all levels. And I give different modifications to meet you where you're at. And so that way, even if you're just stepping in place, so I have some people that do it from a wheelchair, do it from their chair. Like some people are in a cast with their arms, but that doesn't mean they can't move their legs. But all too often we it's an all or nothing mentality. Oh, I can't, I stubbed my toe, so that means I can't do anything for 6 months. No, like you can still work your upper body, you can still work your abs, like there's still other things. We just have to get creative, and we have to get around other people to help us determine.
Like it's not black or white.
Exactly. Right. And sometimes I think the momentum and that consistency, even in the modification, whether it's short term, medium term, or long term, maybe we just need to embrace that we need to modify for the rest of our life. And that's okay. But we have to still keep showing up anyways and still move our body in the way that we can and embrace it, because we know that our mindset, our mental health, and everyone else that needs us at 100% needs us to put ourselves in our health first. And so it takes it's like a warm blanket. And I know Julie was here. I think she just left, but Julie described it before. She was on a live with me last week as just being supported by this cloud. And it's funny, as a marathon runner, I actually wear ASICS shoes, and I'm not sponsored by them at all. Unless you know someone at ASICS, I'd love to be sponsored by them. But I wear the ASICS Nimbus, and they name their running shoes after clouds, because you have that spring, you have that level of support and just love and just grip on life, right? And so and it's figurative, but it's also it's how I love to help people. It's as this cloud that you feel supported and loved, and that we're here to meet you where you're at. And so sometimes we don't feel that, and we can feel very alone if we don't reach out for help. And if we stay stuck and we say, oh, we can't do anything anymore, we have to get curious. We have to ask ourselves the right questions and get around the right people. So I hope that helps. What other thoughts do you have? We have about 5 more minutes. Anybody else on stage have any thoughts or questions, comments? Anybody want to raise your hand? Don't forget to click the link above and join my free Facebook group. It's amazing. We have fun in there. We support each other. I actually have a free workout coming up this Saturday in that group. So that'll be fun. Anyone else on stage here? Care to share? It's quiet.
Laura, this is Kimberly. I'm sorry, I was trying to get to my mic.
Hello, Kimberly. So great to have you here. How are you today?
It's so wonderful. I'm great. I just really appreciate everything that you shared today, as always, and just to get back on track and everything, because as you know, in certain parts of the country, I live in Michigan, we had really horrible ice storms, and it was lots of dangerous things happening around me for the last 5 days. So to come in here and, be motivated by you to get back on track, get myself together, get back on my routine. I just appreciate your energy, and thank you so much.
My pleasure, Kimberly. And I hope you're safe and warm and things are okay in the house. And I know a lot of people lost power. So if you have power, I know we were talking in a previous show about dance parties. So how can you have a nice dance party in your house, regardless, the hashtag no matter what mentality?
Right now.
Okay, good.
Right now. I'm doing it now.
All right.
Thank you, girlfriend.
All right. Well, hey, I'm gonna see if I can find some music. Maybe we can have a dance party here. Let's see. I am on Facebook, so I have to be careful with the music that I select. So let's see. Who else wants to share? Well, we have 2 more minutes till I have to close the room, but we have time for one more share or question.
Hi, Crystal Laura. This is Tarika. I'm driving.
Hey, Tarika.
I wanted to ask you, what do you do to prepare for your marathons? I mean, you probably already went over it. I was just in depth in trying to do something for work, so I wasn't able to tap in earlier. But what are some of the best things or best tactics that you do to prepare for your marathon?
Oh, great question. I'm actually kicking off a new marathon group this week. I'm taking a group of 10 women, men too, actually. It's open to men too, but mostly women. We're running the Buffalo Marathon in May, Memorial Day weekend. So I'm originally from Buffalo. It's one of the Boston qualifiers where it's fast and flat and beautiful weather, amazing crowd support. One of my friends is the race director, and it is incredible. So anyways, how we prepare? We train for at least 3 months. So this is a 3-month training cycle, and I develop a customized plan for each of my clients. And we meet on Zoom. We're in community, so we're all running our own race, and we're really focused on the nutrition, the hydration, the mindset of the athlete, the mindset of the training cycle, not doing too much too fast, and really being intentional with each and every day of how we're fueling our body so that we can reach not only the start line, but the finish line stronger and healthier, right? And so it is a short-term training cycle. So we don't just exhaust ourselves and run 20 miles a day. No, it's a journey. So we kind of go up the hill. We peak about a month before the training, before the event, and then we taper back down. So it's very strategic. So hopefully that answers your question, Tarika, but it's very intentional with every single day of being clear, being really honest in our healthy habits, and recognizing where we need to show up powerfully. Does that answer your question, Tarika?
Yes, ma'am, and thank you. That's perfect. I'm also an ex-cheerleader, not an NFL cheerleader, but I did cheer for high school. So I was like, oh, I relate to that. And I also used to work for marathons, not the marathons per se, but like running events, like in my area. I used to do checking their badges, checking their numbers and stuff like that, and stuff like, just prepare for the whole event. So
wow.
I relate to that as well. And thank you.
You are so welcome.
On your 7th.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
So let's connect, Tarika. I'd love to meet you. Let's hop on a Zoom. I'd love to just connect and chat and see how I can support you. So I do have to close the room though. So make sure you click the link above. If you're on Facebook Live right now and you're in the group, shout yourself out. Welcome all the new people that are joining, and join me every Monday in the Breakfast with Champions Clubhouse. The Health is Wealth show. So I'm going to close this room. We'll see you tomorrow, 5 a.m. Eastern. And make sure you follow me and send me a message. Let me know what resonated with you. I'm here to support you. You're not alone. Keep shining, keep sparkling, and keep showing up powerfully because the world needs more of you. All right. Cheers. Have a great day.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pew, pew, pew.